Like I explained in the last video about the spider web, the problems arise when the body starts to come on top. And little by little, if I start losing control from here, so I control the leg, start to come on top. I come on top, please. Here, right before I lose complete control, if it twists the shoulders around, I will not end up again in the close guard. So the last thing for me to lose is always my angle. So I was here, I had the shoulder, see? He gets his shoulder out, and right after this, he regains his angle. So if you do the whole thing in reverse order, so let's go this side, please. So put your legs over here. If you see the hole in the middle, yeah. If you do the whole thing in reverse order, what should happen for me to be able to return to spider web? And why do I want to do this? Look, I think in the past I always learned armbar to catch the shoulder, either the other shoulder, catch shoulder over, step over the head. And technically you can still finish the armbar from close guard like this. But I want to go to, I want to have over high percentage finishers on this DVD. So I think the armbar from bottom is very hard. The best chance I have of finishing the armbar in my case is always to go for the shoulder over here. If I step over his head, the odds are very high I'm going to get smashed. I would have to get my leg out in any case and often lose control. So the whole quest of the close guard would be, in my case, how to get the elbow across the chest. See? Catch the shoulder leg on bottom, catch the leg, and start bringing him back from here to spider web, where I can finish it more easily. Okay, so the previous mistake we did the way to bring the posture, get to head and arm control, get our foot on our foot on his hip. I'm going to show you how to isolate the shoulder. So, in the middle please. So to get to isolate the shoulder, you need to play a bit of a mind game. So look, from here please. I assume that I always imagine very much virtual techniques in jiu-jitsu. Like some techniques are hard to catch and they never fall for it, but I still go for them so as to defend as an actual reaction, so to give you the actual thing I really want. So, long story short, I'm going to exaggerate this. My grip on his neck, pull back, start walking away, keeping my hip high, while keeping it high, putting my foot on his hip and keep walking away. Now look, I want to isolate the top shoulder here. What do I need to do is I want to bring the elbow for Placido inside, push the shoulder backwards so I can step over and isolate it like so. Go back please. So how do I do this? If I want the shoulder to go here, Placido knows if he turns his shoulder inside and out, that's going to be almost impossible for me to catch the shoulder. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put the foot on his hip and I'm going to start playing a game in the east-west axis. So here, keep tight please. Once I've broken this posture, I have to walk a little bit away, see, until his chest is right between my legs. The closer his head is towards my face, the more dangerous for headbutts in a real life situation. And the easier it is for me, the more impossible it gets for me to start going over his shoulders. I need to play a high close guard. So I have to start walking away, little by little. See. Now from here, how do I isolate this arm and get my leg over here high on his back? So I'm going to start walking my head away to the side where I close the arm and start lifting my hip up. See, from here I'm going to wait until he brings his chest up. As he goes to the center again, I bring my head, don't fall. Relax. Keep your head away please. So I'm going to push him up. Once I'm here, see, he starts to go back to the center. Once he goes to just bring your head back to the center.
Center of your body?
Your head back in the center. Here, yeah. Just what you're here. When you're in the center, see, once he goes to the center, I should move my body to the other side, bring his elbow inside. This allows me to catch his shoulder. So for a different angle. So just try to return to a neutral stance. Okay? Go here please. So I control this elbow, control the head, exaggerate the grip, pull back, walked away, put my foot in his hip, walk away more until the shoulders are a little bit below my hip line. Now I need to get his elbow inside and get a good angle to step over his shoulder. So here, if his elbow is not tight here, relax. I start to walking my leg up right away. Now most likely he will keep it low. So what game can I play here? Look, I can go this way, I can go this way. See, this is an essential thing of the mirroring system. Look, if I want to get him out of the center, see my legs keep super tight. Okay, I cannot really move him left or right. If I want to put Placido to this side, see, I have to put my shoulders to the other side, walk him away, baby bridge, and push him out of the center. If I go to the other side, look away and start again, bringing him up. So every time I bring him here, see, I can get his arm across. I can either threaten the side close guard. Now for this DVD, I'm gonna assume every time I'm pushing him here, and he brings himself back to the center, I can push his head and his arm together and step over the shoulder. So one more time. Walked away. I'm gonna lift my hip, so I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna start making my angle. So if you start pushing forward, please, I stop the hip by keeping walk away. The more his shoulders go forward, the more he's relaxed, the more he's out of balance. So now I can start playing the game. Look, if I go this way and start putting, no, don't fall. I start going this way, put pressure back with your shoulder, please. Yeah. I don't get him out of the center this way, so he's pushing back. I'm gonna switch. He comes back again and switch one more time. Now, to get the elbow across my hip, it's always stuck here. So once he's on the far side, I have to raise my hip up, look away, and now I'll wait. I keep pushing. If I go high enough, I will push the elbow completely inside. See? Make a small hip escape against the shoulder. Here he goes to this side. I push him in, get the shoulder over here. So. Okay, so. Like I previously showed in the previous video, so there is two ways for me to catch the shoulder and two angles that I get. So if I manage to bring Placido off to the side where I control the arm, like here, I can catch his shoulder right away. Now the problem is over here, I'm still flat on my back. So if Placido come up, see, he can start again, putting pressure on me. Now, first let's assume he stays low, right? If I put my fist over, so here, I'm gonna go for my first choke, I put my fist inside his throat. And it's very important you don't forget this option. Now look, this gives as a counter to his counter for the arm bar. If I just keep his neck closed and I start stretching him out, so basically I could do an arm bar here by twisting his hand and stretching my hip up. Now, if I start going for this and he bends his arm, see, come close please. I don't really have, put your weight on me. See, it's very hard for me to finish the arm bar, if not impossible. Go back please. So, if I keep his arm trapped underneath my arm, I'm going to use my top arm, my free arm. I'm going to put the fist right in his throat and make a frame. Come close now, please. So it gets a bit more difficult to defend his arm. Okay, the choke and the arm bar work in different directions. The first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to stretch my arm. See, I'm going to bring my hip up to attack the arm, and this is going to trigger him to coming close. And when he comes close, I'm going to keep my arm stretched, pulling him with my legs on top of my wrist and push a straight arm into his throat, like here. Sometimes it taps, sometimes it will not, but at the very least, if I do this here, so he will be triggered I'm very sorry. He will be triggered into running away from me again. See, and that's the moment I can step over his head and have a fully extended arm and do the arm bar. Now what you should never do in my book is to step over the head when the arm is still bent. If I step over here, there's always a high chance he's going to lean into me, and that's going to be way harder for me to finish the arm bar. So once I caught the shoulder over here, put the fist inside. Here, I keep a distance. Start stretching my hip and trigger and give a thread of the arm bar. He starts to lean in or walk up even. So you go up. I can start pushing in his throat. Once he runs away from the throat push, I can step over, twist my hip, and go for an arm bar. In general, it's very hard to work submissions or positions from guards when you're flat on your back. I always consider being flat on your back in the middle at best a neutral position. There is options there if the partner is not very skilled, let's say, but usually we have a better option if you're only on our side. So what I essentially mean, look, if I'm here and I can make a tiny adjustment by bringing my shoulder up, if Placido wants to go back to the middle, I have to push me to my back and I can use this momentum to sweep him over. So I'm going to use this in a favor when we choose the correct angle. Okay. So, a good drill to remember the shoulder catch would be just to catch the arm, close, go 1, angle 2, and 3. Very good drill to learn this position. Now look, what happens here? I'm gonna start using my legs here to bring Placido out of bounds on that side. Keep tight, okay? So I start pushing him in. It's gonna be very hard to bring him there. Whereas, look at this. See, if I get this position where I can start trying to finish him, see, very likely his defense is gonna be to push his shoulder out again. Okay, or putting his weight on top of me. Every time he does this, putting his shoulder in, see, I'm gonna let go of the shoulder, see, make a tiny adjustment and go to the side guard. Now, there's another way for me to get there. Go back, please. I can also go back to the beginning, where I walked away and push my hip to that side. Every time I push my hip up, keep your arm here, please, and he starts pushing back. See, sorry. So I push my hip up. See, once you start pushing back, I can bring his elbow to the inside, stop his shoulder, make the angle switch, and get your shoulder from this side. Now look, as I'm on my side straight away from here, it's going to be way easy for me to attack and to sweep him. In this case, I can start attacking the top arm, see, by putting pressure on the elbow, bringing my chest in, and heels to the butt. Yeah, okay, putting shoulder pressure. I can catch over, go for the far elbow, bringing the elbow over his head, doing the inside shoulder escape, catch his knee, and start twisting him back. And if I'm here, see, try to stack me, please, Placido, from here. It's gonna be way, if you keep me on my shoulders, it's gonna be way harder for him to put me on my shoulders. Every time he pushes me on my shoulder, I can use this momentum to go back to the spider web. So let's go again. From this angle. This angle. Okay. So, if I manage to get the shoulder, and I'm still in the center, here, I can use it for the initial attempt to turn him over. Every time he pushes back over here, I want to control the arm, see, let the shoulder slip, put my foot on the floor, walk his shoulder, and make a tiny adjustment to go to the side guard. Now the advantage over here is that I get a favorable angle where I can start working again. Now let's turn around, please. I have to show one detail on this side. So go again, in the middle. More bit more. Here. So I managed to get his shoulder, push him away, he pushed back, I control the arm, block the shoulder, put my foot on the floor, keep escaped around. So adjusted my angle. So my foot is gonna make a grip like a hook over his hip, and my knee has to be on the floor. If my knee is lifted, he can start walking in again and essentially going back to the center. As long as I keep my knee on the floor here, get a grip in his armpits, try to move now please, he's gonna be way harder. Now, I have a lot of options here. I can start crossing my feet. I always cross my feet now over the far shoulder here. In this case, previously my leg was on bottom, now my leg has to be on top. So try to move here please. Very hard. Now I'm gonna catch his hand. The first attack I have of here, I'm gonna catch the pinkies out of his hand, bringing the arm towards my chest, and I'll start reaching up.
Tap tap.
Yeah. So it's very hard to do this. Look, if I start bringing the hand towards me here, I start breaching over here.
Tap tap.
The effect is not the same. I have to bring his hand straight away to my hip, and now when he starts to come on top, I can start extending my hip. There is one way how he can defend his arm. Well, there is more. He can start catching his hands together over here, which make it a bit harder. Go back, please. Or if I put the hand towards me and I start putting my hip in, get up, please. I keep away until he starts walking to the center. Start stacking me, please, to protect his hand. Once he gets in, control the far leg. Look away to the side. I'm gonna sweep in, twist my hips, pushing back, and getting back into the spider web where I can do my first set of attacks. Let's go again. From this angle here. So I managed to isolate his shoulder, twisted him away, made distance, he pushes in, I catch the hand, block the shoulder so that the shoulder was blocked by my leg before, my hand is going to take over, put my foot on the floor. So make a hip adjustment. My inside knee's on the floor, step over the far shoulder in this case, and cross my feet again. The first attack I have is I'm gonna go for the pinky side of the inside arm, bring it towards my hip, and I'm gonna start making distance. He's gonna defend by going up and going towards the middle. I'm gonna go in, catch his leg here, keep looking away, twist my knees to the side, I wanna sweep him, point my finger, and get on top. And back to the spider web where I can go for the finish. Okay, I'm gonna show you my personal favorite, my favorite grip to finish from the close guard or return to spider web. So, I managed to break his posture, got my foot on the hip, walked away, pushed him away, brought him to my good angle to catch his shoulder, tried the fist choke here, the punch throat choke. He reacted by pulling away, didn't finish the armbar, I put the shoulder back in, I let go of I catch the hand, let go of the shoulder, block the shoulder from getting too close, make an angle adjustment. So now in this case, look, I have to find a way to keep me from regaining his posture. If I just stay here and linger, he can get up straight away. The first barrier I put over him is to step my outside foot over my bottom leg. Try to get up now, please. It already makes it a little bit harder, but given enough time and given enough technique, get up, please. He will start to get out now. He will start to get his posture back. So you have to put another barrier to prevent it from happening. If I can find a way to keep his neck bent, stand up now, please. When he starts to get up, he will essentially start stacking himself. So I'm going to use my top arm and put this one underneath his armpit. The arm which is still free, I'm going to take a reverse grip on the inside of his elbow. Try to close your arm now, please. Yeah. But it can still happen, but I can reinforce it by putting my first arm and catching a grip over my bottom arm. And I'm going to put a lot of pressure with my elbow inside his shoulder. See, try to move now, please. It's going to be very hard. Now over here, I'm going to try first the shoulder lock on the top arm. I'm going to put pressure inside the shoulder. See, start to bring the shoulder up. So if I go over at this point, if I switch my grip over at this point and start to resist, please. See, I will never be able to bring his arm back over his head. But if I use my shoulder and his elbow and my hand on my wrist as a lever, so in this case I can make everything tight. See, so keep tight, please, keep resisting. I can start little by little putting pressure on my shoulder and start bringing the elbow behind his back. Walking a little bit away. Now my arm is strong enough to keep his elbow from returning. Go back, please. And when I'm ready, I'm going to go for an over grip. See, pull everything nice and tight. And in the end, put pressure on my hip until it taps. This is a very nasty arm lock, shoulder lock actually, so be very careful. Now the only way he can defend this is by the shoulder lock works because his arm is weak, and the arm is weak because his elbow is far away from his hip. So if I keep controlling his elbow, the only way he can protect himself is by start walking with his hip towards his elbow. Exactly. Go back, please. Now following the mirror principle. Every time his hip starts to come close to my head, I have to bring my head closer towards his hip. Back, please. So he's here. He starts walking close. The moment he goes over the center line, I bring my shoulders in and going for the inside shoulder escape. This gives me access over at least his inside leg, but preferably his far leg. Which once I put my hand behind his far knee, I can twist underneath and return him to the spider web. Back. I'm gonna go over here. Yeah. So, rewinding everything. I was able to catch his shoulder, brought it away, he pushed in, block the shoulder here, make an angle, cross the feet. I'm gonna use my free arm and make a reverse grip on his elbow, so preventing his elbow from going far away. My top arm is gonna go over his head and make it a grip on my arm over here. I'm gonna start bringing his elbow back, put a lot of pressure on my elbow. Once it's close enough, I'm gonna release my left hand. I'm gonna go over and also catch the far elbow. I'm gonna start bringing the elbow even more back, getting everything tight, and then put pressure, bring my heels towards my butt, start putting pressure on the hip. tapping from the shoulder lock. He starts to defend this by walking around with his legs. So walk around. I dive underneath the shoulder escape. Use my free arm to go to the knee. Here, I keep looking away. I use my hips to bring him over and return to the spider web. Over here, I can start walking away and still have an option to go for the elbow. Usually here, since the arm is still trapped in my arm, I go backwards and can start attacking the arm over here. Under no circumstances do I release this arm. If I release, see, he's able to follow his arm and make it harder for me to finish. Okay, now let's use the same principle we used in the previous part on the triangle from the close guard. So the problems from close guard and bottom are always like this for me. I learned close guard triangle in the past. So a simple setup, let's say, was to catch both arms, put one to the chest, step one foot on the hip, go high and catch. Now initially we learned to go underneath the arm, make an angle, get to the head and close. Now as long as my both shoulders are on the floor, Placido, start going up please and start stacking me. Catch my head and put pressure. Okay, so another problem might be, so as long as the moment I close my triangle and Placido starts walking around my triangle, walk around, you can start passing my guard on this side. Now, of course, there are some details involved, but a big problem is that big guys or small people don't get their legs clustered around the head, and big people have a bigger chance to walk around and pass the triangle. So, what I'm proposing right now is the following. Look, from here. So when I recently started doing the triangle, so first of all, the ideal setup for me is here. When I control the head, and I start to control the inside hand. I put my foot on the hip, and he starts going up. So I lift my hip up, drop again, step over the head. Now, over here, we're gonna apply the mirroring principle to the triangle. Can you walk over here with your legs, please? Yeah. So first of all, if I right away close my triangle from here, Placido can start going up and start stacking me. Forward, forward, forward. And as long as I'll keep going forward. Here. Not too heavy. And here I usually have to open my legs. Go back, please. And I want to find myself in a spot directly underneath him with my nose pointing to my butt. So the first thing I always teach here is to keep my knees tight and my feet open. And then I'm gonna start walking away. See, try to stack me, please. I'm gonna start walking away. So go back. See, don't push forward, but walk forward. So try to stack me. See, if he starts walking forward, I'm gonna start walking away and stop his hip. Freeze. Now even here, once I start bringing him out, see, wait for a second. If I go right now for the triangle on this side, see, Placido can start walking around, and he can start walking his butt towards my face, and I get a good shot of passing my triangle. So I start walking away. Now, what do I need to be able to close my triangle? Once I'm here, I usually start putting my knee instead of closing it. I start putting my knee to the inside and opening my foot. See, Placido, start walking around here, please. See? Sorry, start to go to the other side. Back in the middle. So, the triangle tight. I open my foot and point my knees towards each other. This already puts some pressure on his neck in this case. Start walking backwards, please. Control that motion. Start walking forward. Control that as well. Start walking on the inside. And stop this, or at least nullify it by moving with him. So this leaves him all option. I can also try to go up. This is stopped by me putting pressure on his hip. So the only way he's gonna go right now is to walk around. Now look, if I go first here and I close, he can start accessing my neck, access hand over the shoulder and start passing. So following the mirroring principle, I don't have to wait for a partner to do the transition. I close my knees, put some pressure on his neck, so this already instigates him to start making a movement. He starts walking around, freeze. Once he goes, I start bring myself to the same side of my head as he's going. And once I start blocking the arm with my inside arm, so I never want his arm to reach across towards my far collar. So I block his arms. He starts walking again, please. Yeah. Close the triangle. So step my foot over his neck, put the foot on the ground, make a small adjustment, Make sure my shoulder is up, and I'll close for a very tight triangle. Go again, please. So, he's gonna go low. Control the head, control the wrist. Reach up, push his arm to his chest, see? Step over, control the head, and put the foot on the hip, start walking away. By walking away, I also start bringing the elbow over the hip. Now here, I'm gonna open my foot and point the knee to the inside. Keep squeezing my knees. Once Placido starts walking around, see? Freeze, go back please again. So, I close my knee. Once he starts walking around, I block his arm. And when he's almost perpendicular, I'm gonna step in my leg over his head, put my foot on the floor, and I always want to make sure my knee points to the inside. So I'm gonna make a tiny adjustment. Here, close my triangle again, and go here. Yeah. So this would be my take on the classical triangle, but there is a better way if you apply the principles from the previous part. I'm gonna show you in the next segment. So like I said before, it's very hard to finish positions and get things going when you're flat on your back in front of the person. So we're going to apply this principle with the angle adjustment towards the triangle. So the classic triangle is always me being in front of my partner, and when I close, he starts stacking and I get stuck. So from here, what I propose is to walk away. So the only way I would ever go to a triangle is if he starts walking around first. I close, and when he walks himself first, I can go for the shoulders on the floor triangle. What is ideal is if he starts walking forward, see, I can put my hand on his shoulder and put my other hand in his armpit. When he starts making pressure forward, see, he gives me like go back please, like a counterpoint. Put pressure forward. He gives me a counterpoint that I can use to make a hip adjustment. So keep pushing forward, freeze, yeah. Now I'm gonna put my outside foot on the floor, start pushing into my hands, see, and start hip escaping my knee towards the floor. Over here I can catch my shin, pull the heel tight inside, and a very important detail here is my heel. If I support my toes to my face and start closing here, I put a lot of pressure on my knee. So I prefer to point my toes outside, my heel towards my face, step over, point my toes away, heels toward, so the top foot points the toes up, the inside one points the heel to my face, and I can start squeezing from here. So go again, from a different angle. Forward. So I close the triangle, start walking away. My partner wants to recover his posture, so he starts to push forward. See, I block both of his shoulders, block his shoulder with a V grip or a thumb post on his shoulder, and my other hand makes a thumb post on his armpit. I never want his hand to be able to access my face. When he starts pushing forward, say freeze here, go forward, push forward. So I'll keep putting pressure forward. I can start putting my foot on the face, foot on the floor, making hip angle. Look, there's a huge amount of space here, but if you try to get your elbow through, please. It's quite hard, and when it does so, it's still possible for me to start closing my triangle. It's very hard for him to get his elbow outside the gap before I can close the triangle. So my free arm is going to catch my shin, bring it in, point my heel towards my face, toes point behind the shoulder, pull it in, step over, adjust if necessary, and I'll start squeezing. Very important over here is that I always keep my head looking away from my partner. If I start looking in, you can get access over my head. Start stacking it, please. For me, this usually requires me to open my triangle. Now, if I keep a straight spine, if he starts walking in right now, no move please. Essentially, you can only do two things from here actually. You can walk in please. Exactly. Or walk out the other side. Walk out and start opening my legs on this side. Exactly. So how do we deal with this? Once we have the ideal angle over here, please don't walk back. No adjustments. So when I'm here, closing my triangle over here, I keep my spine straight. If my partner starts walking into me, I'm going to twist my hip, push him down, and on top. In which case I can put put my foot backwards, make another adjustment, catch his knee, start going for the same triangle on top. Go again, please. Now look, very important, when I'm doing this one, look, keep that, okay? If I go in myself to bring him over, if I walk in myself and start twisting now, I will give Placido access over my head. Start stacking me again, please. So, go back. Again, I need to mirror my partner. I have to wait in the middle, keep my spine straight, my head straight, start squeezing, and wait for this reaction to happen. The first one you can do, walk towards me, please. I wait, and just twist and push him down, and get back straight away. Posting my foot on the floor, my hand on the other side, catch the arm if I can. Start now making a hip adjustment to the outside. Go up, catch the leg, and twist. Treat this full circle with reverse triangle from the spider web or the back. Go back, please. Last option. Back close the triangle. So I'm over here. Keep my straight spine. So you realize if he starts to walk into me, walk in please, I can twist him away. So his other option, go back, is to circle to the other side. Now look, very important, if he circles away and I start to turn over completely here, see, now I have to let go of the triangle. Because it's almost impossible to keep my legs squeezed in this side. Also, so keep everything tight, see, if I start the transition to, so walk away please a little bit. Yeah. If I start the transition first at this point and now Placido decides to circle towards my head, walk away. No, the same side, go like you were doing. Continue. It will be very hard for me to keep this. So again, I have to make sure I react to his movement. So keeping the triangle closed over here, he starts walking away. Walk away, yeah. And I feel this, that's why I twist to my knee. Face down, start pushing both my arms backwards and end up in a mounted triangle. From here I can catch his leg, lean forward, look away, and I'll start twisting my hip to the floor and getting a good squeeze on his neck. Arm is also always here for access. So I fall backward again at the same reverse triangle as I had before. So one more time from a different angle. Just right here, so again. From this side. So again, start stacking, so above the shoulders. So basically a good drill you can do is to start from here, post on the shoulder, post on the arm, make a hip angle, step over your foot, see? Go sideways, wait please. Wait in the middle, arch your back, shin forward, start stacking me, twist and bring him back. He walks away from me, twist to my knees, walking backwards, and finish with a mountain triangle. Lead us once more here, catch the leg, keep my both knees on the floor, make sure my feet stay arched, look away over my right shoulder, twist my left hip towards the floor. So far, our main focus in this DVD was to get the arm bar or the ideal position, the reverse triangle from any position, mainly the close guard, the back, and the spider web. So let's now go full circle and finish with the mount. So essentially, where does the mount fit in the whole program? So it would be on the back, and we lost the ideal angle, see? But we were able to close our feet over his stomach. See, when he starts to go on top, see? Look at me, please, start bridging. Looking away, I was able to go to the mount. Now, can you please? Put your head over there. Yeah. So what I usually go for in the mount, see, I usually try to close my feet. Move it away, please. Head over here. I try to close my feet below his butt. If I keep my feet open and he manages to put his leg flat on the floor, he can start spreading my feet away from each other. See? And lifting my foot up with your hand, please. Your hand over your foot, and go for a quadra guard. Essentially, all the problems with mount arise when he splits my feet apart. So just like on the back, I always want to keep my feet connected around this hip. Now, the thing I usually go for when I'm in mount, I try to get initially double unders. well, I have the arm bar way and I have the triangle where I go for mount. So close your elbows, please. So, and depending on which grip I get, I go for either the mount or the triangle. When I get the double unders, what I'm gonna try to do here, look, I'm gonna try to walk open with my hands. I call this the spider walk, and try to get over towards his head. Now, close your elbows, please. See here. Keep super tight. Yeah. For me to get there, look, if I start walking my both at the same time, see, I give him the option to close his elbows again and push himself up. Exactly. So, what I'm going to do initially, I'm going to open my arm on one side, trap his elbow with my free hand, and start walking on one side. Now, start pushing yourself up again, please. You can essentially keep doing this unless I start putting pressure on my hips. So keep tight, please. So push back, please. Okay. So once I'm here, I'm going to start walking one hand at a time, walk a bit forward. See? And I have to make sure I don't walk my hand to the inside. If I walk to the inside, close your elbow, it's much stronger. If I put my hand outside, keep tight, please. Start walking away, it's way harder. Now, keep closing. See? Once I start walking a little bit, I can use a wedge and turn my right arm and turn in, open his elbow just a little bit. Walk again and go again. Little by little, I start to get one arm completely over the top of his head. Then it's time to walk my second arm and start walking. Close your elbow, please. Keep walking forward with the fingers diagonally until I manage to put both of my hands flat on his head. See, close your elbows, please. Close your elbows. Sorry, open your elbows. See, it's almost impossible to get out. Should I lift my hands? Push yourself out. Yeah. Push yourself out. You can do it. Push yourself over there. You can start closing his elbows again by sliding his head out. Now if I close both of my arms over his head, let's try to move, please. It's going to be very hard on his part. Now, next step. Please. Go back down. Yeah. So my feet are closed behind his butt, and my both hands are on top of his head, and he's essentially stuck here. So usually here, I'm going to ride out the match and wait for the, well, once the timer run out, till like 2 minutes before the timer, and decide if I would lose a position, I will soon be able to hold him on until the time runs out. Now, when I'm here controlling his head, I start walking forward and going to the high mount. So you try to move, please. Yeah. The next grip I'm going to go for here is going to try to get my hand underneath his head. So look, once I go for a Z mount here, and his head is still on the floor, put your head on the floor, and bridge, it can cause troubles for me here. And my toes are not flexible enough to put in the mat, so I usually keep my toes flat. Yeah, this is a personal limitation. So for me it's super important to keep always his head up, so he cannot bridge. So, once I'm here, I was high, get my hand right below his neck, start walking forward, see? Start making an angle over his shoulder, going as high as I can, bring it up, and bring my leg underneath on the other side. So once his head is up, you try to bridge now, please. Not completely impossible, but very hard. Now it's time to decide which arm is on top. If the arm near me is close to me, then it's the easiest arm bar from here. I just go catch the hand inside my elbow. Now how to finish. Many people teach from here to close the hand, step over and lay back. And I would argue against this because often this results in his hand getting underneath my knee and then pushing me over. So what are we going to do instead from here? I'm going to trap his arm in my elbow, post my hand on the floor, and I'm going to start putting my shin in his face. Walking away my hand. I'm going to walk with me please, walk away. Okay. So start putting my knee on the floor, looking over my right shoulder and start putting pressure exactly here. Now, I only go down on that side if he manages to put his arms in such a configuration that it's harder for me to finish. So this arm on top will usually go for the arm bar on the far side, keeping his hand stuck, twisting and putting pressure on my hip. When he hides his hand, I could switch for the arm, I could switch to the other side, but I find this too dangerous. So what I like to do, post my hand on the floor, go through here, post my hand on the floor on this side, catch the leg, switch the angle, and go back for a spider web, and work from here again, making the position full circle with the spider web. Okay, let's now show me the option to get the triangle from the mount. So, often I find it hard when I'm here to completely open up my partner's arms. So when he keeps you tight, if I would be completely trapped, he's able to flip me over. So when I feel his arms closing, I decide to get one arm out. Also, if I cannot open it, I would choose the same option. I'm going to use the free arm now to hug deep inside underneath his armpit. Close your elbow, please. Yeah. I'm just walking my hand out to the side. Keep tight. Using your wedge to always open and digging deeper. Walk, dig deeper. Walk, dig deeper. Essentially, I want to go all the way until his elbow is strapped towards his head. Now I'm going to go push myself forward and put my left ear on the floor. Here I can linger a bit until I find it's time to put my hip up. So usually he'll start pushing his elbow down on my knee. I go over and put my knee over. I keep his arm trapped, lay down, and let him fight to liberate his own hand. He doesn't start to do this. I start attacking the top arm straight away. Usually he will feel the danger coming and get his hand out in hopes to defend his arm. Now, I turn in facing the ceiling, and this gives me a good angle to put pressure on the elbow and make a sit up, filling the arm bar. So the trick is to put the inside of your arm, so that the sharp part of your bone on his elbow, put a lot of pressure, like always the weakest link principle. So you put it super tight on your heels and your arm, and then make a sit up. This will trigger him to escape in both ways. He can turn to the left or turn to the right. Assuming he turns to the left, he turns. See? I'm gonna follow him. See? Breathe over here. Go. I'm gonna make a hip escape. Go again. Do the reverse triangle. This time trapping the other arm. From here, the same options like before can happen. He can walk in. You can flip him over. Make a hip adjustment. And you can finish him from here. If he starts walking away from me, you can again roll over and go to the mounted triangle. Laying over, start attacking the arm bar, it flips to the other side, so rolls in, and follow him over here. Block the shoulder, make the hip escape, close the triangle from here, catch the elbow, finishing the arm. Should you decide to roll over to that side, see, because wait, see, I can open his elbow, so put pressure on the shoulder, he rolls over. As he rolls, escape around, he gets a triangle on the other side. Let's do this once again from a different angle. Over here. Lay back. So walking forward, put my knee over, laying down. Wait. I take the arm bar, pulls away. Okay. I follow him, block his elbow. Angle adjustment, close the triangle. Our option, freeze. Laying over, he rolls to the other side. I follow up. Hip adjustment, again close the triangle. Finish with an arm bar. Walks away. Open my belly, push him over. Go hunting for the leg. Lift my feet, move away, and finish him with a mounted triangle.